There is a kind of Darwinian evolution in architecture that if it's good, it's worth preserving, so it gets preserved, and if it isn't worth preserving, so it doesn't, and something else happens in its place. Because certainly in the Conran culture, old new seems to us a pretty unimportant criterion. What matters is not the distinction between ancient and modern, it's the distinction between good and bad. We built the Design Museum, which is a very pristine, white, rectangular, modernist building, very stark, very uncompromising. Personally, I think it's very beautiful. I also think the contrast between the modernity of the Design Museum and the antiquity of the Butler's Wharf building, in a way, brings out the advantage of both of them better. By looking at the two of them together, somehow the character of each seems more vivid. So I think it's a good example, Butler's Wharf, of us wanting to preserve the old that's good, and when we have the old which is bad, of knocking it down and being very happy to build something uncompromisingly modern. Why does all this matter? Why am I so impassioned about it? Well, I think the answer is two reasons. The first one perhaps is rather obvious, but it's still important, which is the architecture that we build around us actually is the world that we then have to inhabit and live in and enjoy. And if we build cautious buildings that are slightly compromised, slightly worried about what people feel, we'll be living in a world which feels like that. And if we take some risks, sometimes get it horribly wrong, sometimes get it bravely right, we'll be living in a world of excitement, mistakes and energy. And that's, for me, that is a world I'd rather inhabit. But I think the other reason why I'm passionate about it is actually much more important, is that the architecture of this city is a kind of metaphor for the dreams and vision and aspiration of the people that live here and work here. When you look at the London skyline and you see the extraordinary muddle of good and bad, which it is, I think what you should accept is that sometimes we get it horribly wrong, sometimes we get it brilliantly right, but we're always brave enough to make a statement of what London dreams to be. Thank you very much indeed.